to listen to that original recording from
Yes.
Broadway. Right. The movie event of this year. This is the big one.
Yes.
This is the big one. I don't care about Bond. I don't care about Bond.
Oh,
this is the
you're
big
hurting.
one. Dune.
Yes.
Take 2 of Dune.
Technically take 3, but yes, take 2.
What was take 1?
Take 1 is David Lynch's 80s film,
Take 2 is?
2000 miniseries.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Based off the book by Frank Herbert, absolute science fiction classic. Dune is a 1,000-odd page novel filled to the brim with lore and has been continuously attempted to make into a film or a TV series or just general media and failed. Until now, the legend of sci-fi himself, Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, we love him.
Oh man, we love him. Yes. I watched Arrival not long ago for the first time. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a brilliant film. Yeah.
Great film. And Blade Runner 2049.
It's still my favourite film of that year.
It's so good. It's so good. Dune, written by John Spite, I want to say. Denis himself, and then Eric Roth. Cast, absolutely star-studded cast. You've got Timothée Chalamet, Ryan's favorite little boy, who plays Paul Atreides. You've got Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica Atreides, Oscar Isaac as Duke Leto Atreides. You have Jason Momoa as my favorite name in the history of cinema, Duncan Idaho.
I saw a brilliant tweet the other day that basically said Duncan Idaho is the exact same name as Hannah Montana.
It is!
And it's
so
true.
It is.
It's so true.
You've got Josh Brolin as Gurney, Javier Bardem appears as Stilgar, and of course Zendaya as Chani.
Brilliant. It was that joke was made for this film.
It is. Right, I've Dune. We saw it Monday. Man, I need to see that again.
Yes.
That's all I can say. Dune is an epic. It is an epic space opera that I think is needed. It's fresh. It's still fresh to this day. Dune is being introduced to an entirely new generation. I am part of that generation. I've had no exposure to Dune apart from until now.
Yeah.
And it's incredible that I'm getting such a great, faithful version to the novels as well, from what I've heard. This film is ambitious, really ambitious.
To say the least.
Yeah. This film is ambitious. Not only is it visually stunning, I would expect no less from Denis Villeneuve. Special effects are outstanding in this film. The costume design is outstanding. The soundtrack to this film is pretty good. All the characters are interesting. The lore is well developed and well placed. At no point do I feel overwhelmed by names and numbers and characters and figures and places and planets. It's contained. The film opens well. It closes well. It's doing a grand story, but it's not taking it quick. It's not making you figure all this out so quickly so that it can go on and do other stuff. It's taking its time. And Dune is really, really appreciative of the source material.
Yeah.
It knows that it needs time that it's never had before. And Denis is really, really, really trying to make sure that this film takes its time in developing that story, making the most out of it. Many, many people are comparing it to Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Because this is one of those films where it is an epic that is going to take place over 2 or 3 films.
It's not a spoiler to say, because literally the film opens up and the titles are the first thing that show up in the film, and literally it just says Part 1.
Part 1. Dune Part 1.
So you're like, oh, even before you see the film, you're like, oh well, this is Part 1.
Yeah, this is Part 1.
It's not an It situation in which the film ends and then it's just suddenly Part 1 and you're like, really?
No, it opens and tells you this is Part 1. Mm-hmm. There's more to come after this. Or at least you hope so.
Yes.
And with a 40 million opening box office weekend.
I've heard that it's 50 million.
Is it gone up to 50?
I heard that it went up.
Wow.
If it's not up even more.
Wow.
Since I last
Well,
checked.
then I'm telling you, we'll be getting a sequel.
Yeah.
100%. The buzz surrounding Dune is incredible. Everybody's so appreciative of it. Christopher Nolan and Denis are apparently going to be having a 30-minute conversation about the film, and it's going to be recorded and available to watch. Guillermo del Toro's come out and said that the film's fantastic. So many people are praising this film for not only doing a fantastic job with the source material, but it's just everything about this film is getting appreciated.
There was something you said. The visuals are outstanding,
and
I completely agree.
Stunning.
And I do highly encourage. Well, I think we both highly encourage everyone that's listening to maybe attempt to go and see Dune at some point if you have not already done so.
This is... I saw a tweet by someone saying I wasn't there for stuff like Star Wars. I wasn't there when Lord of the Rings came out or Jurassic Park or any of these epics, but I'm here for Dune.
Yeah.
And I agree. Dune is going to be that film where years down the line, everybody's going to be like, I was there. I was there when I saw Dune, you know?
Well...
Go and see this film.
I want to draw attention to something because I absolutely love this fact. Okay? Dune's budget... Okay, $165 million. Now that's a lot of money.
It's
a
lot.
A lot of money. Not in terms of films, but it's a lot of money. Okay, the Suicide Squad. Guess how much their budget was?
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad, the new one.
The new one.
This is 2021 films that I've got here.
$250 million.
I was not nearly 185 million. So more than Dune.
More than Dune.
Black Widow. How much was that budget?
Oh, now the budget on Black Widow must have been about. I'd say 190 million.
That was $200 million. Jungle Cruise.
Oh no, I saw this tweet. Jungle Cruise was like 240 million to make, wasn't it?
Yeah. $200 million plus.
Insane.
That alone, and the fact that Dune looks this clean, this real. Never once does it ever feel fake.
No. Dune is... It's so well crafted. So well crafted. It's so... There's so much care put into this. You can tell Denis is like obsessed about making this film as perfect as it needs to be. And he really, really, really puts his heart into it. And so does everyone else. As a hater of Timothée Chalamet, what are your thoughts on him as Paul?
Okay, yeah, Paul.
Paul.
I love the names.
I saw a very good tweet telling me that they found it hilarious that both Star Wars and Dune, two of the biggest sci-fi things to ever exist, have main characters called Luke and Paul.
Yeah. But Timothée, I've never been a fan of in the past. His films, The King, Lady Bird, Little Women. I think if he gets put into a role in which he is like a stroppy teen that wants to get his way every single time, then it's perfect casting. But it's just not enjoyable to watch him. So while watching him here, his role is kind of the same. However, it's dialed back. I feel like they do the Elijah Wood Frodo approach to Paul in this installment in Dune, in which he's the audience character, basically.
Yeah, he is.
We're following his story, and we are seeing everything as he sees it.
Yes.
And out of all of the characters in this film, Paul is one that I don't remember like a line from or very much from other than maybe the very final scene. Mm-hmm. And I think that's on purpose.
Yeah.
I think going forward, Timothée might really pull out of the bag, and then part 2 is going to be an incredible performance from him, I hope, if it continues this way. But as an appetizer, I think he does really well in setting us, the audience, on this journey.
Yeah, I agree. It's this... you're completely right. He is a Frodo character. And if you've seen Lord of the Rings, you know that Frodo goes from that small hobbit from Bag End in the first film to climbing Mount Dune in an epic final sequence within the third. And I think you're right. I think that as we grow to learn more about this world and more comfortable with the world and the characters who live within it, Paul will begin to grow more and become his own character and do more. And I am really looking forward to seeing more. I hope we get announcements, official announcements for Dune Part 2 and possibly 3.
That is something that I will mention. I am... Not that I'm iffy, because I definitely think we're going to get a sequel to this. I feel like that is a definite. But it does really make me a little bit, reserved. The fact that they have not greenlit Dune Part 2 right away. Yeah, thinking back, if we stick with the Lord of the Rings comparison, all three of them were filmed back to back. They were greenlit back to back. That story was going to end.
Yeah.
In a world where Dune didn't get the massive opening that it did, and say that this was just as much of a flop as Blade Runner 2049 was. Yeah. Which, let me just be clear, this might be controversial, but I think Blade Runner 2049 is a better film than Dune Part 1. But that was considered a box office flop. if the same happened to Dune, I would feel incredibly disappointed and really not happy that part 2 was not coming.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bring it back to Halloween, but Halloween Ends is confirmed. So at least we know that we've got another shot of completing the story.
And the only issue I had with Dune coming out of it is that I feel it does rely on having a future too much.
Yes.
Especially considering there's not a greenlit one. But I guess that's a tactic in order to make sure that the next one or two are greenlit.
Yes.
I heard rumors today that part 2 is almost confirmed, but there may be a part 3 based on the second book.
The sequel book, yeah.
The sequel book. Which I'm down for. I mean,
Absolutely.
Give Denis all the money he needs. Give him more of a budget. What can he create with that? But I definitely think that this film needs more. And like Lord of the Rings, I think more films will only complement it more and make it a better watch. And years down the line, I can see 4K bundles of the extended edition of Dune.
Oh, I hope extended editions come of this.
Then just give me all that good stuff. Give me the good stuff.
I will say, we talked about Timothy. I will say, for me, Rebecca Ferguson is the standout in this film.
She is brilliant. From
the moment that she comes on, she is a commanding presence in everything. But in here, wow, like... She does give an absolutely fantastic...
Even Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho.
Brilliant
side character. Maybe one of my favorites.
Yes.
There are two big kind of, I guess you could say, quote-unquote, action sequences that happen within this film. I've seen people comment that Denis doesn't really know how to do action films action scenes, my apologies, considering he hasn't really dabbled in them before. He's done stuff like Sicario.
Well, Sicario to me is more of a thriller. And during one action scene, the one in the middle of this film, I was heavily reminded of Sicario. Yeah. The way that scenes are sequenced and shot, it's very thrilling, and in a sense, danger is oncoming and you don't know where it's coming from. It's very Sicario.
He does cut away from the action maybe too much. I would like to see more action in there, but I think that that's something that he'll pick up and do better on in the future. People say Dune is not an action-heavy sci-fi series at all, but the action sequences that it does have are epics. The two that this film had are epic.
Yes.
They are brilliant. They are star-stunning. They genuinely, eyes wide, mouth agape. I was just in awe. Like, perfect. I love this film the more I think about it, and I am desperate to go see it again.
Yes.
Really am, and I really want to go and experience this again. Hell, if I had the option, I would go see this in IMAX.
Yes.
I really wish we had IMAX here so I was able to go see it.
But it is one, definitely. If you're going to see any film this year, make it Dune.
Make it Dune.
Even though Bond saves cinema, and I will stand on that hill.
Bond will be in the cinema next year. Still.
Very true. But Dune is so worth the cinema experience. It's transfixing, and it's like... It just transports you to that world.
Yeah.
It's something that hardly happens in cinema, and I'm so glad that this kind of film is being made. It's one to support.
It is. It is a hell of an experience to watch. So yeah, please take the time, go to your local cinema, see Dune. It's playing at the Bellman, it's playing at the View, it's playing at Cineworld, it's playing at all of them. Please take the time, go and see Dune in the big screen. It's the only real way to see it. It's what you need to happen. Hell, I'm even tempted that maybe we get 4DX tickets.
Yeah.
Because that's a bigger screen.
Yeah.
So,
very true.
So, yeah. I think we'll definitely...